switching both, keep devising the plan to make sure we keep winning. One goal is advance. Keep picking against us, we don't give a damn. We'll still hold the Lombardi trophy overhead as the first team to do it in front of our fans. Welcome to Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck, now parlay. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. Welcome to Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck, now parlay. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. And we got a new captain now. Tom Brady's at the helm. Brought his first mate Gronk. Hell yeah, it's going down. Getting nasty in the trenches, man. Nah, they don't want that. Steady Tristan Wirfs, Steve Smith, Ali Marpet. Coming acting hungry, getting worked by chancing. Chef until the whistle, boy, you serve them pancakes. Giving Brady time to drop back and hit Cam Brate. First down, Tampa. Pounding rock with Rojo and Fournette until they break. When the front seven wear down, we working them DBs. Hit Godwin, AB, Scotty get 13. Hit him on the crossing route, hit him on the post. You can hit him underneath or just hit him on the goals. When they think they got it figured out and we exposed. Tyler Johnson making grabs, boy, you already know. Welcome to Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck, now parlay. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. Defense. And goodbye, boy, you can't move. Number one rush defense in the league starts up front. Y'all don't want no smoke with them dudes. The squad goes William goes to Nunez, Roaches, Vita Vea, McClendon, led better, and Ndamukong Suh. Try tuck tail, no matter which way that you head. Jason Pierre, Paul, and Shaq Barrett off of the edge. Devin White's an animal looking to be fed. Lavonte ain't playing games, this is where the play ends. Winfield Juniors making men cry. Dean and CD3 regulate the outside. When they ask who we are, we ain't gotta mention names. We some who gon' find a way to win the game. Welcome to Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck, now parlay. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. No biscuit, BA is the man. Left switching both, keep devising the plan to make sure we keep winning. One goal is advance. Keep picking against us, we don't give a damn. We'll still hold the Lombardi trophy overhead as the first team to do it in front of our fans. Welcome to Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck, now parlay. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. We buck 'em up. Down in Tampa Bay. Welcome to Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up when we raise the flag. Fire the cannons and seize the day. The crew's ready, all hands on deck, now parlay. Down in Tampa Bay. We buck 'em up.
Can anybody hear me?
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Sammer, along with my co-host Stank and Papi Latte, and you're watching the Loose Cannons, presented by Red Cap Plumbing and Air, a Tampa-based company who takes pride in their reputation for timely service, professional results, and exceeding your expectations. They truly define #Tampa Proud. As always, the number to call and give us a couple of draft questions tonight, shown on the screen, is 312-626 6799, and when prompted, enter the code 9955 20 47 40, and you will be in the digital waiting room. We are joined tonight by none other than Trevor Sikkema of the draftnetwork.com, the only person I've ever spoken to who could probably list off every eligible player in the NFL draft just off the top of his head.
Wow.
Welcome to the Loose Cannons, Trevor. What's up, man?
Trevor Lawrence, Penei Sewell, Jalen Waddle, Kyle Pitts, Caleb Farley, Justin Fields. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I need it in alphabeutical order by conference. Go.
I thought you were Rain Man in that shit for a second, bro. The way you were like kind of staring at your table.
No, not quite. Boys, it is awesome to be back with you. It's always good to talk ball with you guys and to talk a lot of just absolute nonsense, because I know that's what we're going to do on this podcast. But that's why it's so fun. So I appreciate you guys having me.
Yes, absolutely. Trevor, before we dive into the wonderful world of the NFL draft, which we haven't even discussed on this show until today, which is an amazing feeling. Yeah, it's very unheard of. It's uncharted territory.
Aren't you guys a Bucs podcast?
Yeah, it's been weird. Yeah. 2020.
And you haven't talked about the draft, and it's
Listen. Jake came on here somewhere, I don't know, around the late December, January, somewhere on there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, yeah, because we could use this in the draft. He said, what the fucking draft? We're not talking fucking draft, guys. We'll talk draft after this shit's over.
It's kind of a lie.
Just put a ban on drafts. No mock draft, no nothing.
We talked draft. We talked draft a little bit. We had a hot debate our last episode.
Oh yeah, this was during the season. I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, during the season.
He said this is a Bucs podcast.
Hold on. Whoa, what was the hot debate?
We're gonna get to it.
Don't worry, bro.
We're gonna get you in. Don't worry.
Into it.
All right. My answer is ranch.
Oh no!
Listen,
all right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you for the subscribers. We'll see you guys next week.
Sammer, I'm pretty sure you my co-host, Sammer, my beautiful co-host, Stank. You guys agree with me? Ranch is an undraftable player. It's just there's character concerns. There's just
I'm sorry.
Ranch
comes in underperforming on all of the measurables, and then you go off the field, and he's just a fucking mess. Ranch is a huge no-no. I don't even know if he's an undrafted free agent signing.
It's like in the maybe percentile in all categories.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, we all know Ranch. Ranch was a JUCO player. Had lots of trouble staying in school. Got caught cheating. Stole a laptop, a la Cam Newton. There was all kinds of things that Ranch did, and yeah, I agree. Completely undraftable.
Basically, up until Stank's last couple points there, you guys just described Tom Brady pre-draft, so I appreciate it. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for linking Tom Brady and
Ranch. Fucking guy. Listen, before we dive into the draft, we have to talk about our favorite defensive player. I mean, right now, over the last decade, Lavonte
David.
I thought you were saying Jerry McCoy.
No.
Chicken nuggets. What the fuck is wrong with you, Josh Chrysler?
Yeah, dude, that guy loves ranch and he loves chicken nuggets. But anyways, listen, Lavonte David somehow is back with the Bucs. Somehow it only cost us $3.5 million on the salary cap. Give me some reaction, Trevor. I know how much you loved covering him when you were down here before you left and removed the curse and all that good stuff. Just give us your thoughts on the Lavonte coming back and re-signing and all, just all that magic that came into making it happen.
Lavonte was never not going to be a Buccaneer in 2021. Like, I've never at any point thought that Lavonte would not be in a Buccaneers uniform. This man did not spend 8 playoff-less years with the Buccaneers, not only becoming the most underrated player in the NFL, not only being as slept on as he was, not only missing out on all of the accolades that he deserves, but not having playoffs for 8 years, the first 8 years of his career, to simply bounce when he has the opportunity to go win another Super Bowl, saying the word another with emphasis there because he just won one, obviously, this year. There was no way this was going to happen. Jason Light and Mike Greenberg have done a phenomenal job keeping their cap really healthy. That's one of the most impressive parts about all of this. Now, 2 massive players in keeping their cap healthy with the roster they have are, of course, Mike Evans and Tom Brady. These are 2 guys who have taken less money than they're really worth, or at least moved money around to make it more flexible for the team to keep a lot of these guys. And that shows that, how committed they are to the team and how committed they are to winning. So when you look at the Bucs situation going into this offseason, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, Bucs just won a title, but Ndamukong Suh, Rob Gronkowski, Shaq Barrett, Chris Godwin, Lavonte David, like all these guys are undrafted free or unrestricted free agents. So, great run Tampa, but I guess it's not going to happen anymore. And I'm like, tell me who they're not going to bring back. because I will have a counter somewhere for you for almost every single name that you could throw out there. Lavonte David's was probably, I would have said that Chris Godwin was number one as the player who I had the most confidence in returning. They were either going to get a long-term deal done with him or they were going to sign him to the franchise tag, because as we see now, the franchise tag for Chris Godwin, which is what they signed him to anyways, that's less money this season than what they would have given him probably if it would have been a long-term deal, at least for average money, because he's going to command a lot because he's really good. The second guy on that list would have been Lavonte David. He wasn't going anywhere. No way. Everybody who knows Lavonte, everybody who knows him on this team knows that he's Tampa through and through. Now, will he end his career with Tampa? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, like if he thinks that he wants to play a couple more years and somebody's going to way overpay him after the Brady championship window, that's another story. But I would even tell you that this team's going to do their best to make it so Lavonte is a Buck from his career, start to finish, because that's the kind of dude that he's been for Tampa. And no offense to anybody in the national media who was reporting this, because there was a couple. It wasn't just Mike at NFL Network. There are a couple people who were saying like, oh, Lavonte David, he could go elsewhere, blah, blah, blah. Whole time I was just like, no. Like, he's not leaving. And because if you really knew the Tampa situation, and again, I don't mean to take a shot at some of the national guys because they can't have their pulse on, they can't have their finger on the pulse of every single fan base. But for those who knew Tampa and knew Lavonte David, they knew he wasn't going anywhere.
Perfect.
Is Shaq Barrett going anywhere?
I don't have anything to add.
Shaq would be, if I would have made a list a couple of weeks ago from most likely to be back to least likely to be back, I think the least likely on that list of the notable guys would have been Ndamukong Suh, because I think that they might have a better contingency plan to replace him. Shaq would have been the next guy. He would have been like second, right behind or right in front of Ndamukong Suh, simply because I know Shaq also wants to be back with the Buccaneers. He said that multiple times, and I think his agent knows that too. Like, he really does want to be in.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
What just happened?
The comment in the chat by Brent. Oh, hey, look, a real show.
Oh, hey, look, it's a real show. Damn, Brent.
We the best. You know what I'm saying? It's another one. Lavonte's back. And yeah, that's right. We got a real show, you know what I mean? We actually hopping on the camera.
Turn my fan up, bro.
And
Just got hot in here.
talking, you know what I mean? Not just chatting. Can't believe you did it.
I
Can't believe you
drink
did
a
it.
little beer.
That is gangster, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Totally
Trevor.
hijacked the whole Shaq Barrett
I didn't even see.
commentary.
I can't see the comments, so I'm glad that you brought it up because y'all freaked the hell out of that.
Oh shit.
So Shaq, please let me know. Please let me know if anything else pops off in the chat. I really want to know. Please interrupt me. Feel free to.
No problem.
Shaq can get a lot of money elsewhere, you know, and that's different than a couple of these other guys. Like Lavonte might have been able to get a little bit more money elsewhere. You know, Chris Godwin might have been able to get a little bit more money elsewhere. And Ndamukong Suh, a little bit more money elsewhere. Shaq Barrett might be able to get a lot more money elsewhere. I just don't know what teams are going to be willing to pay, because we've seen that pass rushers really do come at a premium, especially when you've had as much success as he has over the last couple of years. So I know that Shaq wants to be back in Tampa Bay, but shoot, man, if there's a team that's willing to give you a 4-year deal where you're making $4 million extra dollars a year, more in guaranteed money, Shaq might be wise to take that. Remember, first couple of years of his career, he wasn't a starter. He wasn't a starting pass rusher. So it's not like he was making all this money. He wasn't a highly touted draft pick. He really had to come up to get this, and now it's his opportunity to cash out. So even though I know he wants to be back to make another Super Bowl run, he might be someone who goes elsewhere. We'll see. I think the Bucs are firmly in the conversation, but I also fully believe that there are multiple teams out there who will outbid the Bucs on Shaq Barrett no matter what. It's just a matter of, does he want to stay in Tampa?
Even with the cap.
Does it help, Trevor?
Sorry, go ahead.
Does it help, Trevor, that we have that there's a lot of guys out there like Ngakoue, Judon, you got Bud Dupree. I mean, it's a pretty hefty class out there as far as free agency, and there's not a lot of cap space. So they were saying today that it's probably estimated that half the teams are going to be in on these free agents. The other half just can't participate this year. There's just no fucking cap.
Yeah, let me look just to make sure, because I want to look at the guys who have the most cap. Like the Jets have a lot of cap, but they run a 3-4. Patriots are multiple in what they do. Shaq Barrett can be a stand-up pass rusher, though. So even with guys like Yannick Ngakoue and Matthew Judon and, you know, potentially Bud Dupree, Jadeveon Clowney, like all of these guys are hitting the market, but I think you probably trust Shaq Barrett over almost all of them. Like, because he's got the versatility. He could be a stand-up pass rusher. He could be a hand-to-the-dirt guy. So, like, team like the Raiders, teams like the Colts, like, they desperately need pass rush, and they would be down for a 4-3 edge rusher that Barrett could be. Teams like the Giants, teams like the Jets, I guess the Patriots as well, they could be in on it and have him be a stand-up pass rusher. So it is a crowded pass rush class, but I don't know how much that would help the Bucs, because I do think that Barrett's going to be one of the top edge rushers on the list, no matter who it is. So I still think that they're going to try to throw a lot of money at him.
But I mean, that's my kind of my weird concern or question is, if you're going to pay that other guy, why not just give that money to Shaq? Because how much difference is that pay scale going to be from, Bud Dupree or Ngakoue to Shaq Barrett?
Right.
How much different is that really going to be? Because that's just the nature of NFL free agency when it comes to edge rushers. They all get overpaid, it seems like, no matter what. I mean, J.J. Watt just got a shit ton of money to tell you how hard he's working and to be on the IR list by week 6.
I'm in a lake, guys. I'm in a fucking frozen lake. Yeah.
So,
9 sacks the last 3 years, but I'm in a frozen lake.
Yeah, but I'm the hardest worker here.
SpotTrack has Barrett's estimated value per year as $19 to $20 million, and that's a lot of money. And I think that Ngakoue could have a chance of getting close to that, although him being on multiple teams over the last couple of years probably might scare some other teams off. Bud Dupree's been good, but he really kind of like caught fire this year. I don't know. I still think that Shaq's probably going to be the highest paid of all of them if he gets a chance to. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I got to interrupt you again because Cody Haynes said here, we better draft Felton from UCLA, because if we don't, I will make my firstborn child, I will name him Sammer, Papi, Latte, Stank.
He's saying.
So, like, is it Sammer first name?
If they don't.
No,
if they don't draft him, he will name.
No.
His
If
firstborn.
they do.
Or if they do, he will name his first child.
I was going to say, those are rough odds. Those are really rough odds there.
So it's like the first name Sammer, middle name Papi Latte, and last name Stank. Is that how this works, Cody? I'm just wondering.
I like how he understood that his first name should be Sammer. I like that.
Oh
like that's
God.
a level of respect that, I mean, it's very humbling to read that, honestly. So I thank you for sure. That's very touching. I
would think you would know the value of a last name, because Stank gets passed on to his children and his children's children, and Sammer, it's just.
His actual name without his middle name would be Sammer Stank. That's like a great rap name.
I don't matter. I don't matter. I'm just
Sammer
the
Stank.
first letter.
And multiple people want to thank you, Trevor, for leaving the state, because every sports team has won now that you've left. So collective thank you, of course, from all of us.
Yeah, I appreciate
Trevor,
it.
Who the hell is Felton? And because I've been like, that I know this draft shit, but I've been completely disconnected, bro. I'm enjoying the fact we won the Super Bowl.
We have Trevor on for a reason. I don't know shit about the draft.
I don't know shit about the draft this year. And before you do, shout out to the Nate 555. That's my delivery guy. They got the Bucs tattoo on his arm. Sammer, Stank, he got the fucking Bucs tattoo. I tweeted it. It went fucking crazy. All of a sudden, people are telling him, hey, some dude tweeted your shit. His name's Papi Latte. He checks it out, finds the podcast, binge watched all the fucking episodes. He just came to my house now. He's like, your shit is fucking awesome. And he's watching live from the fucking pizza joint right now. That's gangster, bro. He might even call in, he said. Let's go.
I like
this. Who the fuck is Felton?
Oh.
Who's Felton?
Demetric Felton is a running back, slot wide receiver hybrid kind of a player out of UCLA. He played running back for them, so you're going to see a lot of his tape, and he's a running back. But at the Senior Bowl, he was working with the wide receivers and runs really nice routes. He's got great body control. I mean, he's going to kind of be that tweener gadget player. You remember when, like, Curtis Samuel was coming out, and Ohio State used him a lot out of the backfield, but they also used him as a receiver. It's that same kind of mold. I'm not saying he's to Curtis Samuel's caliber, but that's kind of what you're thinking here. You're getting some extra backfield help with him. You might be using him on passing downs to be a swing guy outside of the backfield, but also he could be a slot threat for you on early downs as well. So you'd line him up in that area. So he's just more of an all-around player. He's a really nice natural athlete. I don't know, like, what his top-end athleticism is. Like, I don't think he's crazy explosive or crazy fast. He's just a really smooth mover, and he's a guy who could do a lot of different things because not to be cliche, but like there are guys who are just naturally good football players, and it feels like Demetric Felton's kind of one of those guys. So might not be overly athletic in a lot of areas, but I just think that he's a really well-rounded football player who could do a lot of different things in the receiving game for you. So that is Demetric Felton.
I like it. I don't think we need him from the running back standpoint, though, because we're clearly going to take a running back. It's going to be Najee, Javonte, or ATN. So from that perspective, I'm not interested. And somebody asked, what do you think about Tony? That's your Florida guy. So what's the deal?
I don't think you'd be drafting Felton until like the 3rd or 4th round anyways. So you certainly wouldn't have to choose him over a Najee Harris or a Javonte Williams or something like that. Kadarius Toney's awesome. I will say this, being a Florida Gator alumni and having watched every single Florida football game for the past 6 years, we were all big on Tony like 3 years ago. And we were all like, feed this guy the ball. He's such an elite athlete. Like nobody's like him. He's crazy. But he never really saw the field. And Dan Mullen's not an idiot. Like he's a lot of things, but he's not going to not play his best playmakers. Dan Mullen has always been about get your best playmakers out on the field, at least when you can. And I think a big reason why it took so long for Tony to really have this breakout year this season is because before he was truly just like an athlete and he didn't know what he was doing. This year, he was a lot better at route running. This year, he transitioned from just an athlete to an actual wide receiver. And he still has a ways to go. Like he still has things that he can learn with his route running to become a more well-rounded wide receiver. But, we've all seen the highlights, the top end athleticism, the crazy hands, the fact that it looks like he doesn't have cartilage in his knees sometimes because he's bending like Gumby, like all of these things are unique to him and what make him unique as a prospect. So I'm a little bit wary of him. I'm not just sitting here saying like, oh, he had a fantastic 2020, draft this guy in the 1st round, have no worries. He might still be a fringe 1st round player, but he's not a perfect wide receiver right now. He was able to out-athlete a lot of people in college, but he's got to hone in on really working on his route tree, becoming still more of a wide receiver than just a straight athlete in the NFL. So he's really good. He's really talented. He's fun. He's electric. There aren't many athletes like him, but he's still got a little bit to go to be a true wide receiver in the NFL.
Trevor, you come from the draftnetwork.com. You guys have the amazing mock draft machine. So you guys have gone through multiple scenarios as it relates to any NFL team, most specifically the Bucs.
Yes.
So for tonight's show, we need you to walk us through the first 3 or 4 rounds in the ideal scenarios and maybe a couple of different, branches or things that could possibly play out as it relates to the Bucs. And that brings us to the debate that's been going on this show, which is pick number 32 for the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
Stank and I have a certain stance on it, and then Papi Latte has his own view on it, which isn't necessarily right or wrong. We just disagree, which is fine. But I want you to take – that's fine, dude. I appreciate that. Stand your ground. But take us through these first few rounds with the Bucs and how things could play out and what the ideal scenario would be for the Bucs going into the NFL draft.
Well, when you look at a mock draft for the Buccaneers, if you'll look at it closely, real close, you will see that the Buccaneers are picking 32, and that's normally reserved for the reigning Super Bowl champions. So I just wanted to make that clear for everybody that the Buccaneers are picking number 32 because they currently just won the Super Bowl.
Weird. That's weird.
It is weird, isn't it? Yeah, it's weird how that works, actually. So when you look at picking in the back end of the 1st round,
tired of scrolling.
A lot of things will depend on what happens in free agency. Like if they lose Shaq, then all of a sudden edge rusher becomes a really big priority for them. If they lose Dominican Sue, all of a sudden interior defensive line could be a pretty big priority for them. Because remember, this isn't just a team that we're used to with the Buccaneers where it's like, hey, we're picking guys that are long-term players. They're going to develop. They're going to turn into stars. No, they have starting right now, about a 1 to 2 year window for as long as Brady's probably going to play with them in which they want to compete. So you want to pick guys, and it's really important to remember this. You want to pick guys that are going to be able to contribute for you pretty quickly. And it's hard to do that at 32. I think the most likely path here is that it's either Sue or Barrett who are gone from the Buccaneers. So with that being the case, you look at some of, let's say, the interior defensive linemen. And this interior defensive line class, it's not the strongest. There are some guys to like, but you might have your pick of the entire class still at 32. We could get to number 32 and not a single interior defensive lineman could be taken, which is a shock, especially when you look at, 2 years ago, Quinnen Williams goes number 3 overall. It's not like interior defensive line is not a prioritized position. They're just not great this year. I think the guy at the top of the list is Christian Barmore. Even though he's more flashes than total production right now, I just finished his film, and he's fun. He brings you the speed element of playing 3-tech, which would be exactly what you want to complement Vita Vea being next to him, but he still has to get stronger. Like, he can get washed out sometimes at the college level. That's going to look even worse in the NFL if he didn't get that strength profile up. And so he's got the speed rush part down. He could be a one-gap penetrator. He can get to the quarterback. He's really good at that. He shows good flashes in that regard. If he is there at 32, I think you think about it, especially if Ndamukong Suh's gone, because I think that he would be able to give you that first-year impact. If you're looking at edge, who's still going to be there for edge?
Could Jalen Phillips possibly fall to the end of the first round?
I mean, if Jalen Phillips makes it to 32 and they get to draft Jalen Phillips, I mean, the rest of the league should just pack it in, honestly, because that's just not even fair. Jalen Phillips is without a doubt the highest ceiling edge one player for me. Now, you wonder about his concussion history. You wonder about his off the field kind of football commitment, because there was a point to where, he had the injuries, and so he left UCLA. You didn't know if he was going to play football again, comes back at Miami. And so you've got a lot of things off the field that you've got to vet, that you've got to make sure you could check the boxes and be like, okay, this guy's worth the pick. He's going to be worth the pick for us. Because when you turn on the tape, he absolutely is. I mean, he's a 6'5", 260-pound edge rusher that can hold up against the run. They could set the edge. They could pass rush from a 2-point stance, a 3-point stance. He's got all kinds of moves already. He knows to use that. He knows how to use that explosiveness, the long arms, everything. It just seems like it's so easy for this guy. And he was the number 1 overall recruit in the country back in 2017. And there's a reason for it. And you just pop on the tape in Miami and you see that. So if Jalen Phillips makes it to 32 and they don't have Shaq Barrett, I mean, you got to really think about it. The other guys who might be there, see, then you're talking about like taking a chance on Jason Owa, who's a really athletic edge rusher, but yet, he had 0 sacks last year. He just doesn't know what he's doing. Same thing for Gregory Rousseau. I like Gregory Rousseau. I think he's got a high upside, but again, I don't know how much this is a player who you're going to get a lot out of in year 1. I'm not the biggest Levi Onwuzurike fan. I'm not. I mean, he's decently low on my interior defensive line rankings. He's interesting. He's a 6'5", or I think he's like 6'4", actually. 290-pound interior defensive lineman who wins a lot with length and explosiveness, but Washington does a lot of really weird antic-y things with their defensive line, and I just don't know how much of it is translatable to the NFL, and that's what really worries me about Onwuzurike, because he's a unique body type and he wins in unique ways with speed and length as like a one-tech. They play him almost at nose. I just don't know how much that's going to change what they do or what he's able to do in the NFL. And then the last one, I think the last pick is the wild card pick, and that's running back, right? I mean, like, they could potentially go after a running back selection, let's say, if any of the big 3 are available. If Travis Etienne's there, if Najee Harris is there, if Javonte Williams is there, I think all of these guys could be on the table, because you look at what Leonard Fournette was able to do for this team. Yeah, he wasn't the most dynamic back in the world. Yeah, of course, he wasn't going to be a top 10 back, or his performances weren't highly regarded around the league, but it was enough. It was what they needed. It was the complement to their running back room with what they had in Ronald Jones to really complete what they were able to do in their run game. And so if Leonard Fournette ends up moving on, I know they have Keyshawn Vaughn, and I'm sure that they're going to continue to invest in him and have some high hopes in him. But I do still think that they would need another addition, whether it's a free agent addition or maybe a running back addition at number 32. But those are probably their 3 biggest positions, and I would expect them to hit those in rounds 1 and round 2. That's what I believe we would think for those. Round 3, I think you could open it up a little bit more, depending on what happens at wide receiver. There's a chance they could go wide receiver. If there's an interior offensive lineman or just a swing offensive tackle that might fall to them, those are always a worthwhile investment. Those are the guys that I'd probably add to it, but those 5 positions are, I think, the most premium ones that you could pick at a variety of different spots with their first 3 selections.
Trevor, is there a guy that you are just in love with? You have a favorite. You would fucking shit yourself if he fell to the Bucs. at 32, or the Bucs got aggressive. Because based on what you're saying, we're in win now mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could absolutely see us getting aggressive, going up and getting a player,
Sure,
who can contribute this year. Maybe into the, lower 20s or something like that, giving up a little bit of draft capital to win now.
I'm trying to think of it relative to their needs, because again, like I said, like interior defensive line might be an area that they really want to hit, but they probably don't even have to move up. If Barmore's there, you consider it, and I think that that's a good pick for them. But it might just be Jalen Phillips. Like, Jalen Phillips might be the answer to that. And I don't know. I don't know enough about the personal scouting side of things with Jalen Phillips to fully give my stamp of approval. Like, if this guy is within range, you do whatever you can to go up and get him. So, if things check out with Jalen Phillips, that would be, I think, the dream for this team no matter what. Even if they bring back Shaq Barrett. I don't know how much longer Jason Pierre-Paul is going to play. He's crazy. So, he might play for another 4 or 5 years, but I just don't know. I think that when you look at what they would really need, Kyle Pitts, sure, but he's obviously going to be nowhere close to where they're picking at 32. So
top 5 pick.
Listen,
Top 5 pick easily.
right.
You know what?
He's
Why
going
not
top.
bring Kyle Pitts into this offense? OJ's
Stop
coming
it.
back.
Stop it.
Somehow
Stop
Brait
it.
returns.
Stop it.
Just
why
run,
not?
just run 5
That's-
tight ends.
That's been my argument. And listen, I'll come off my little soapbox here. Stank, Sammer.
Oh, yeah. What was the debate?
The debate was he's being a little, he's tapping. I can already feel you tap dancing, bro.
Let him talk. Let him talk.
Let him talk.
Let him talk.
I'm not tapping. Listen,
Tapping the Penguin.
Phillips is a beast. Phillips is absolutely amazing. That's a shit your pants worthy type of player. I understand that. I just don't think he'll be there. The class is weak, like Trevor said. I don't think he'll be there if they clear him off the field stuff. He's too fucking talented, bro. He's
Right.
the best edge rusher in this whole fucking class. And then I agree with Trevor. That's been my argument, my stance the entire time. Interior defensive line, it's fucking weak. So my argument, Trevor, has been I would rather take the best player, which in top to bottom, we don't need quarterbacks, we don't need receivers, we don't need tight ends, we don't need O-linemen. We could use some D-line help, but would I rather take a guy that's rated a second-round pick or further any other year just to take him, or take the best player that's going to make an impact now? Because like you said earlier, the entire year with Lenny and with Rojo, it was almost like a fucking Band-Aid job. But they didn't have a guy that can do it all. I love Rojo,
Right.
but he can't do it all.
Right.
Lenny's probably not coming back. Even if you bring in a James White, you usually carry 4 guys. Their argument has been that, well, it's going to be a rotation, not going to make an impact. Come on, bro. If Najee Harris comes on this fucking team, by week 4, he's taking the majority of the fucking snaps.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
Period.
You don't know if he can pick up pass blocking. You don't
Oh
know
my
if coaches are
God.
going to trust him to let you want Tom to die.
Trevor the scout, please. Trevor the scout, please. If any of those guys, ETN, Najee, or Javonte, get drafted at 32,
Travis,
tell me they're going to be rotational all year. They're going to make a fucking huge impact.
Trevor, in the perfect scenario, say we keep Sue somehow, and somehow there's some magic on the cap
Oh yes.
side.
By the way,
Shaq
my
Barrett,
argument's
okay?
been that that's if we keep Shaq, Sue, we keep our guys.
Yeah.
I'm
So here's a scenario: Shaq somehow stays, and Sue is back. Okay, Who is the ideal pick at 32 for you? A running back who may or may not make the impact, or a defensive lineman who's a rotational guy who could also may or may not make the impact?
Najee not going to make an impact.
You don't know, man. You can't predict that shit. They do like Rojo for a reason. Go ahead, Trevor. Go ahead.
They did bench him for a reason.
I know. I'm there. Don't worry.
Golson's still under contract, right? Because they still have
Yes.
Golson. Okay,
Yes.
so Golson's still under contract, and
Nelson.
and they have Nelson to be the backup edge, because that's important too. Like, you've had Nelson in the farm system learning things. He could be now a rotational guy who could step in. If they didn't have anybody beyond their top 2 guys, all of a sudden you're still thinking edge rusher, and even if any of the running backs are on the board, you're thinking that a rotational edge rush is probably more important for you. But they have Nelson. They've got Will Golson, who's been playing the best ball of his career under Todd Bowles.
Nelson is trash. Go ahead.
I don't think
Say it, Trevor.
I don't
Say
think
it, Trevor.
Yeah, I would probably. I think that running back's probably the way that you would want to go.
Even if Barremore's there from Alabama.
No,
That's what if you're the GM, you're at 32, what is your dream pick for this team with Sue and Shaq coming back and everything you just said?
Hey, first off, stop leading the witness.
I'm not leading him. No, I'm giving him the
I can
entire
play the same
scenario.
game. I can play the same game. Watch this, Trevor. If you're the GM, Tom Brady, and Najee Harris is sitting there, and you're tired of seeing running backs drop the fucking ball and miss fucking blitz protection.
Listen. All right. Okay. All right.
We already have James White though.
I was gonna say, is James White on the Buccaneers this year?
Yeah, he's there. You know he's
Don't we
there.
already have him? Didn't he already sign?
Yeah, we
James
signed
White
him.
is still going to be a rotational situational guy. He's not going to carry the fucking ball.
Bro, he's
not gonna
moving into the
tote the rock.
mansion with AB and Giselle and Tom. They're all going to live there together.
OBJ too. OBJ's crashing
what's the name of
that
song,
slumber
Stank?
party.
What's the name of that song, Stank? They're all living together. It's like, our house.
Yeah.
In the middle of the street, our house. Yeah, that's exactly it's going to be, a fucking reality show. OBJ,
Let him
AB,
answer.
Tom
Let him
Brady, and James White.
Let him answer. Everybody's back. Najee's sitting there right there. Which, by the way, I'm not a scout, Trevor, but I think Javonte's the best out of everyone. All around.
No, but you can only have one Vontae. NFL rules, you can only have one Vontae per team.
fine.
So we already signed Lavonte. We're good.
Oh, I didn't know there was a rule. So
Trevor's like,
I have not finished my final evals of running backs yet. I'm getting to that over the next 2 weeks. And so all I know is that from what I've seen live, and obviously the couple of games that I've been able to scout so far, which it just hasn't been enough to do a full scouting report on them. I mean, I love Javonte. I really like Travis Etienne. And I think the criticism of Najee Harris is overblown. And so I would probably tell you that for the Buccaneers, especially for as balanced as they want to be on offense, and especially for as much as they want to lean on their running backs, I would tell you that I'd rather have Najee Harris, even over Christian Barmore, for this team.
So would Brady.
Hey, Trevor, there's a guy I'm in love with in this draft.
Yes.
Goes by the name of Jeremiah Owusu.
Yeah.
From Notre Dame. I know he's not necessarily a fit, or I mean, and you never know with Todd Bowles. I mean, he's an athlete.
That's true.
He can play anywhere, right?
Yes.
He's from Notre Dame, though.
So come on, man.
Give me your scouting report on that guy.
So I think he's a safety. I think he's a strong safety. I think you don't want Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah fitting the run between the tackles. You do not want to get in a scenario where you have to play him consistently between the tackles. And if you even list him as linebacker, there's a chance that you're going to get that more than you want to during every game. Because even for as aggressive as he takes on blockers, even for as much strength as he shows, he's still only about 215 pounds. And you don't want 215 pounders having to hammer offensive linemen, unless you're Jordan Whitehead and you just get a kick out of that stuff, just going full speed into offensive linemen.
He's insane.
When I see Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I look at how Jeremy Chinn was used this year to be a potential defensive rookie of the year player in Carolina, and that's exactly what I want out of him. Now, there's a little bit of a drawback to that comparison, because for as much action and as much success as Jeremy Chinn had as a sub-package linebacker, playing in the slot as a slot defender, coming up off the blitz, being able to chase guys out of the backfield, being able to rush the passer, all that kinds of stuff. That's the stuff that is home run ability for Owusu-Koramoah as a big slot defender, especially against tight ends. That's right up his alley, and that's something Jeremy Chinn did really well. However, Jeremy Chinn also played a lot of deep coverage as a free safety, and Owusu-Koramoah has never done that. So I don't know if he doesn't. I wouldn't say that he doesn't have the ability to. Like, if you listen to him as a strong safety and you really played a safety system that was more of like a single high and the strong safety was much more of a box player or a rat hole defender over the middle of the field, I still think you get away with that and you could play him at safety and you could protect your linebacker level in that regard. But there is a little bit of a projection saying that Owusu-Koramoah is a safety. I'm just not so sure I'm ready to just say he's a linebacker, because I just don't want him taking on offensive linemen. That's just not a good use of what he does. All of that to say,
he sounds like a Todd Bowles kind of guy, or you can kind of use him anywhere.
He's a fantastic player, and he's very unique, and he's not unique in a worrisome way. I will say that there are certain prospects that you have that you go, oh, like they're tweeners here, but they win with size or they win with speed where you normally wouldn't suspect somebody to. Owusu-Koramoah isn't like that in the sense where he does something unique and there's a big drawback to it. I think the biggest drawback would be you just don't want him to fit the run all the time. You don't want him to be in between the tackles. But I think there's a way you play him to make sure that that's not the case, or at least it's very limited in what he's doing there. So I think that if you really list him and train him to be more of a strong safety, a box safety, and a big slot defender, you're going to get a really damn good football player. And so I don't know if the Bucs would draft him, just because I think they got their secondary pretty figured out. They have the 2 linebackers that they love. But, man, he'd be fun as hell to put him next to Devin White and Lavonte David and the rest of that secondary group. I mean, he'd be fun.
Stank, I got to give you the stink eye really quick, bro. I see what you did there. We get the, like people use the University of, all the players do that shit on primetime games. We get the draft expert, the guy in this entire realm to agree with me. And then you just go and change the fucking subject real quick.
Listen,
You did, bro. As soon as
he
he
said
said, I'm probably going running back.
said
Hey,
about
so
that.
Trevor, what do you think of this guy? Boom. Just didn't even let me have my moment, bro. Can I get some deuces in the chat? Stank just stole me. He deprived me of my moment.
He did. I
I've
didn't
been
like
getting
that.
beat up by you guys.
It was
I don't really
bothering
think
me.
you got your
agrees with
moment,
me.
though. I don't really think you got your moment.
Oh, I didn't get my the draft expert agreed with me.
I will
Amazing.
give you your moment here, since you are wearing a Miami Hurricanes sweatshirt, and just say that when I was growing up, there was nothing cooler than watching Sunday Night Football and then just watching one of the Miami players just go like Ed Reed, the U, and I'm just like,
Fucking amazing.
like there's just nothing like it.
I see a lot of dudes.
Oh, now you motherfuckers want to put a peace sign.
Everybody's
Yeah,
putting
now
the
they're
deuces
doing
for
it.
Papi, bro.
When I ask for peace signs, it's fucking crickets.
Let's fucking go.
Listen,
Everybody's
man.
with me.
There hasn't been a lot of love in the chat lately for the eyebrowless wonder, Stank. It's been kind of weird around here. Trevor, a lot of fucking Bucs fans seem to be debating
calls, bro.
about. Yeah, we're gonna go to some calls here, but a lot of Bucs fans have been debating about when will the Bucs draft Trask from Florida? When will the Bucs draft a quarterback?
Win
I
now
agree.
mode.
Yeah, there's no way it's happening. The Bucs are in win now mode. Is there a scenario where the Bucs are drafting a quarterback at all in this draft?
Yeah, I think that's possible. It's not going
Trevor
to be.
Lawrence falls to 32.
Oh, shit.
Bro, let him smoke. Let him get caught with a fucking Darth Vader helmet, triple bongs, fucking lighten him up. Exactly. A bunch of fucking co-heads.
Listen,
in the
all you guys got to do, is find out where he's staying the night before the draft. And I own the smoke shop. I will send every possible piece of paraphernalia to his house, and I'll just send somebody with like an undercover camera type of setup, fake a UPS driver with like a pen in the pocket.
I'm a UPS driver.
But you're real. I don't want to get you in trouble.
No,
I
I'm
don't want
not
to
getting in trouble. I have a fucking union, bro. I don't give a fuck.
All right, cool. We're gonna outfit you with hidden cameras, and you're gonna get him to put it on, take the video, leak it, and then we've got Trevor Lawrence.
I will
playing
literally
backup
drive to
quarterback.
wherever it
About
is.
to risk it
and then-
all for Trevor
And then my
Lawrence.
union representative, I will deliver that package on my break. And I'm allowed, that's my time. I can do whatever I want on my time, bro. It's my time.
There's one problem with this scenario.
By the way, the deuces in the chat. I love y'all. Love
they
y'all
still
for
do
it.
you're still putting up deuces. Fuck. There's one problem with the scenario. Jacksonville's head coach won't give a fuck. Okay, because
That's very true.
Right.
That's very true. Spoken like a true Gator right there.
Exactly. What, he tried to bring in a strength and conditioning coach that just had a shady pass. You think he's gonna pass on Trevor Lawrence for fucking some weed? Hell no.
Yeah, it's not happening.
So where's the scenario where we take one besides Trevor?
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Besides
so,
this random nonsense.
yes, I do think there's a scenario where they would potentially take a quarterback. It's not going to be Kyle Trask. I mean, I'm just letting everybody know right now. Kyle Trask is in no way a Bruce Arians quarterback. Like, in no way. His entire persona, how he wins, his skill set, that's not even close to how Bruce Arians wants to win. Bruce Arians wants to win with guys who are outspoken, big personality dudes, huge arm, can throw it vertically, can get it up to seams, can fit balls into tight windows, hit difficult shots down the field. That's not Trask. I mean, like, for as much as Trask did for Florida, he was always much more of a calculated touch, timing, rhythm passer. And things worked at Florida because they had a phenomenal offense. They had fantastic receivers. They obviously had Kyle Pitts. They had Kadarius Toney. They had Trayvon Grimes. They had Justin Shorter. They had all of these guys. They had multiple running backs that they could lean on. Trask was a phenomenal facilitator to a lot of that talent because he's also, I love his touch passing. He might have the best touch passes
You're describing Drew Brees.
of anyone in this
noodle
class.
arm Drew Brees. I get it. Okay.
Right.
Drew
And
Brees.
that's kind of what we're talking about here. Kyle Trask is not a Bruce Arians quarterback at all whatsoever. Guys that might be outside of the guys that are going first round. Kellen Mond's probably the biggest one that sticks out. Like, if Bruce Arians is going to be interested in a quarterback that he could take a day 3 flyer on, because I don't think that Tampa's going to take a quarterback, certainly not in round 1 or round 2 or 3. I think it would probably be 4th, 5th round. I guess it really depends on how much they've talked to Brady and how much longer he's going to be around, or how pissed Brady might be if they draft the quarterback. I don't really know. It's not worth that relationship. But like, Kellen Mond is a very unique dude because he has a rocket arm. Like, some of his passes are just stupid how easily he fires the football into such tight windows and deep down the field. Overall accuracy has been a big issue for him over his career, and he's gotten better at it since his early time as a starter. But it's still just not there yet. He is just not consistent with where he delivers the ball. And perhaps it could be technique and repetition and coaching and things like that. And so if they're going to take a chance on anybody, I guess I'd tell you it's Kellen Mond. People would probably say Felipe Franks too, because he also has a big arm. But again, like, I don't, from everything that I know about Franks watching him at UF, I don't think that they would take the flyer on him there. I don't think that they would do that. That's all I can see probably from the list. It's probably Kellen Mond or nobody else.
We all know we're never drafting a quarterback again.
No need.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be the next quarterback here in Tampa. I've said it now,
Agreed.
After that, possibly Russell, if Russell bounces. We're never going to draft a quarterback. We're just going to keep on adding Hall of Fame quarterbacks in free agency. Until, I don't know. I mean, that should just be the role. Fuck these rookies.
Yep.
No, on a real note, though, we might, maybe a day 3, Trevor, like you said, a late day 3 guy, because you still stay up with the Bucs, but I think this is the year that they finally move on from homeboy, the 3rd string quarterback. My God, why am I blanking?
Ryan Griffin.
He's
shitting me?
fucking
After the
6
photo
attempts.
he took in the offseason, you think that they can
He saved Tom Brady. He saved Tom Brady from that media scrum.
Tom Brady put him on his personal.
Trevor,
that's his
biggest moment. That's his biggest moment ever in the NFL.
He's 3rd string quarterback / pushback coach or holdback coach as well.
Yeah, I like it.
Trevor, I guess it would be his biggest moment.
And if we get Kellen Mond, Tom Brady can totally teach him the little nuances on accuracy, right? Like, you need to fold the towel twice on your center. Douse it with baby powder. That'll keep your hand nice and dry, which would then give you more accuracy. You know what I'm saying? It's the little things, guys.
Yeah.
Trevor, we had somebody ask, I think it was Cody Haynes asked earlier in the chat, what do you think about Jalen Twyman in the later rounds, Aaron Donald 2.0 as a possibility for the Bucs?
So Jalen Twyman, interior defensive tackle for Pittsburgh. He is about 6 feet, he's 6'2", 285 pounds. He wears number 97 for Pittsburgh. Does that remind you of anybody? Aaron Donald.
Yeah, Aaron
right?
Donald.
Aaron Donald. I am here to tell you that if you hear an interior defensive lineman's measurables and the first guy that comes to your mind is Aaron Donald, that's a bad thing. That's not a good thing. Aaron Donald's the greatest interior defensive lineman to ever play the game, and yet I don't want anybody to look like him. He is so unique. The fact that this dude dominates what he does at 285 pounds. Look at how many other 285-pound interior defensive linemen are doing in the NFL. They ain't doing crap. They're doing nothing. He is such an alien at how good he is at football, and that position specifically at that weight. As you would expect, a 285-pound defensive lineman that's not named Aaron Donald, you would think that they would win with speed, lose with strength. That's exactly what the case is with Jalen Twyman. Now, I talked to Twyman last week because he was at the House of Athletes Combine that we were covering, and he was working out. And he said that he got up to 308 pounds, and he cut a little bit off, and so he's right around 304 is what he said when I was talking to him. Now, that's significantly bigger than 285, right? I mean, it's 20 pounds bigger, and that's a completely different player. That's a completely different play style. But he said he was still probably aiming to play, like have a play weight between 290, 295. He just really wanted to get stronger. He wanted to have a stronger profile, which was the main criticism of him. And so it was great for him to address it. When you look at what he does well, wins with length, wins with that first step explosiveness. He's fantastic in that way. He understands how to rush the passer. He understands how to be a great one-gap penetrator in a 3-4 system as a 3-tech. He gets all that. He knows how to do it. He just gets overpowered too much. And that's the big thing with him. And when you say like, oh, okay, he put on the extra weight, he got stronger. I do think that he got stronger, but I still don't know what that looks like on the field. And so I'm very intrigued by Jalen Twyman. He could be an interesting mid-round interior defense tackle to bring on the team. And look, when you have a presence who is as dominant as Vita Vea is commanding blocks, there's a chance that you could get something out of a guy like Jalen Twyman, even if he is still just a one-gap, penetrating, attacking style 3-tech, because Vita takes up so much attention. He holds the run so well. He holds the point of attack so well. So you might be able to get away with it, but there's a reason why a guy of Aaron Donald's size is not being talked about as a first-round pick and instead a mid-round pick, and that's why. It's just the strength profile is a very big guess right now.
I'm disappointed in you, Trevor. I'm very disappointed in you, man. You kind of let me down here. This guy's going to come back, return home. You said Aaron Donald is the greatest interior defensive lineman of all time. I beg to differ. I want to argue that with you.
Don't do it.
There's a 93 that took you to see a fucking movie.
Don't do it.
And you're gonna dare you're gonna dare to not even put him in the conversation. I mean, he's a shoo-in for the Ring of Honor. The Bucs should re-sign him. He deserves the fucking ring. How dare you,
Trevor? Should the Bucs?
No.
I want to hear
No.
it. I want to hear from Trevor.
Absolutely not. No, we're not talking about that fucking ball. No, we're not doing it. I don't care. I'm not doing it. No.
Chat, I'm totally kidding, by the way, chat.
No, let the man answer the question.
No, I'm going to ask him a draft question because that's what matters to this team, not a has-been who wants to ride some coattails and make it about himself at some point.
Trevor and
Ken Barrett and everyone else, call the show, guys. If you have these questions, it's hard for us to read them off while we're trying to interact with everyone. Call in, interact with us that way. Call in the show. You can ask Trevor
read the chat when they were putting up the peace signs. You can read the chat then.
Yeah, solid just fine, huh? Listen, Trevor.
Damn it.
Listen, I'm totally ignoring that fucking McCoy nonsense. Listen, every year, Jason Light finds this diamond in the rough, a steal, a Tyler Johnson in the slot, a Antoine Winfield Jr. Who's Ali Marpet? Who's a possible sleeper that you would be just ecstatic for the Bucs to just come up with, just a guy that no one's really kind of talking about under the radar, a Jason Light type of pick that could come in this 2021 draft.
Take the lineman from Whitewater. Take him.
Yeah, so I mean, Gerald McCoy coming back to the Bucs, I think that it makes no.
Yes.
All right, so
you just gave me heartburn. You know that? You just gave me heartburn. Fucking A, man.
Christian talked about the interior offensive lineman Quinn Miners from UW Whitewater. I mean, like he's exactly
the Buccaneer.
He's right. I mean, like he's exactly what Jason Light would want. He's a small school interior offensive lineman. He dominated at the Senior Bowl. He's got fantastic tape. I mean, like the dude's awesome. So
great hair.
If there would be yeah, he really does. And also, did you see the picture of him doing the interview at the Senior Bowl, like full crop top? Like
yes,
he had the jersey tucked into the pads, gut out. Like it was wonderful. It was just thinking
draft him right there. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I got.
Eats chicken wings, bro, with blue cheese.
I think that he is certainly on Jason Light's radar, but I think he's on a lot of people's radar. He's not like a sleeper kind of a player. One guy that I think might really be up Jason Light's alley is Elijah Molden, the safety / corner from Washington. I know that Jason keeps tabs on the Washington program. You got Jimmy Lake over there as the coach, and so there's the Buccaneers connection there. And Elijah Molden's awesome. And I'm listening to people talk about this cornerback class and throughout the names that they like. Obviously, Caleb Farley, Patrick Surtain, J.C. Horn, those are the names at the top. Ifeatu Melifonwu, Asante Samuel Jr., Greg Newsome, like all of these guys. I hear all of these names. I don't hear anybody talking about Elijah Molden. And Elijah Molden, son of an NFL veteran, and my God, those NFL instincts and backgrounds just show up every time he takes the field. He's used as a strong safety kind of a player. He comes down into the box. He plays in the slot. He's so aggressive. He's so reliable. He's a shorter corner. Like the measurables aren't there for him to, I think, play full-time as an outside corner. But, man, I know they have Sean Murphy-Bunting, but Elijah Molden is just such a smart safety. We didn't think that safety was a massive must-draft early need for the Buccaneers last year, and they go and take Antoine Winfield Jr., and it makes all the difference in the world. Molden just seems like another player where it's like, hey, this dude is just such a good football player. I feel like Jason Light's going to have him pretty high on his radar when it comes to him versus other players.
Such a good player. I don't think we win a Super Bowl without
I don't think so.
Incredible fucking rookie right there.
Yeah.
And, you posted the picture earlier in the week of the draft with Sapp and Brooks. I think we're going to go back and even though they didn't get to take a fucking picture together because of COVID, but the Wirfs Winfield pick could go down as one of those drafts where you're like, how the hell? What the hell did?
Thanks for stealing my tweet from this morning.
We're gonna take our first caller.
What did you say that this
Speaking
morning?
of Winfield, can I get some more deuces in the chat?
Oh, really quick. I'm going to take this phone call. Trevor has to be out of here by 10, so we have about 8 minutes left. Jason Parker dropped a bombshell, breaking news. Apparently, Gerald McCoy has announced that he's officially re-entering the NFL draft.
He could be available at 32, Trevor?
Stay away from him.
Yeah, no, I think that he will. I think,
yeah.
Like he's he's an older guy. He's up there in age. I mean, I guess he could be a first rounder. Brandon Weeden was a first rounder, and he was like 48 when they drafted him. So I guess there's a chance for Gerald.
No, okay. We're gonna take the one phone call. We're gonna go to 407. We've got limited time. Go ahead, man. You're on with the Loose Cannons. Give us that draft question.
Go.
You gotta
turn. All right, hey fellas.
Oh, there you go.
Hey fellas, this is I'm sorry.
You got to turn us down in the background, brother. Turn us down in the background.
Oh, my bad. Hey fellas, quick question. I don't know if this has been discussed yet, but do you see any contingency plan for Donovan Smith moving forward? As far as I know he played really well and he's probably going to get re-signed. And then second question, what are your thoughts on Joseph Osai from Texas as edge at 32?
Good questions.
Get the call.
All right. So the Donovan Smith contingency plans. I mean, I would have told you before this year that Donovan Smith was a big candidate to either get cut or restructured somehow because I did not think they were going to pay him the amount of money that he had on his contract. But look, now he's the left tackle of a Super Bowl winning offensive line in which everybody's coming back. I just think that he's still going to be around for the team, and he'll probably be around for this Super Bowl window, unless he has a terrible drop-off of a season next year, which I really don't expect to be the case. I'm not so sure they go to address offensive line. I think that there's a chance that, you always look and you always go best player available if offensive line and a best player available is there in the first 3 rounds because those guys are so important. But I really do think that it's probably just going to be Donovan Smith's show. I'm looking at the offensive lineman list that we have at the Draft Network. I mean, some guys that might be there in the 2nd or 3rd round when you pick them, maybe taking a chance on Walker Little, former 5-star offensive tackle from Stanford who had the injuries. James Hudson, I guess, if they want to go after James Hudson, he's a really exciting athletic offensive tackle prospect from Cincinnati. So, I mean, if he's there in the 3rd round, maybe you take a flyer on him. Braden Christensen, I like as an offensive lineman, but he's more of a zone scheme offensive tackle than more of the power scheme that the Bucs like to run. And so, I don't know, those are a couple of guys that they might take a chance on in the 3rd round. As for Joseph Osai, I like Joseph Osai. He's just very, very interesting of a watch. He was born in Nigeria, didn't start playing football until I believe his freshman year of high school or something around then. And even when he did, he came from playing soccer his whole life. And so he's still really picking up the game. And I think that you could see that. His raw athleticism is awesome, though. He's got a fantastic first step, knows how to rush from a 2-point stance. He's very comfortable in that regard. And so it becomes a little bit of a projection because the Bucs like to, as much as they can stand their pass rush linebackers up a little bit, they still need them to play hand in the dirt. And Osai is not as comfortable. He's not as flexible. He's not as explosive coming from that 3-point stance with his hand in the dirt. So he's more of a stand-up guy. If Bowles is okay with that, I think it makes sense because he does. I mean, he's got great active hands. He's got a phenomenal motor. The first step's awesome. The next steps after that, it's not like he's gaining a ton of speed. So it's not like he's this incredible athlete, but he's very, very interesting. I didn't come away thinking that he was a first-round edge rusher. I still think that he's a second-round guy. But again, when you're picking at 32, you're talking about fringe first, second-rounders anyway. So there's a chance that you might add him there. So those are my thoughts on offensive tackle and then Joseph Osai.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know about drafting depth and how important it is along the offensive line, ask the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, stop it! I saw somebody in the chat say that. Stop it.
No. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about 32. I'm talking about throughout the draft. Having depth guys behind your starters on offensive line is important. Otherwise,
Trevor,
you get stuck with what happened to the Chiefs.
I got one more for you really quick. I know we got about 3.5 minutes here.
That's fine.
As it relates to our division,
Yes.
Do we have to worry about getting any fucking headaches entering this division, i.e., Fields going to Atlanta potentially or Carolina?
Good question.
We know there's going to be 5 quarterbacks going probably in the top 7 or 8 picks. Carolina's talking about trading up. They clearly have said publicly Teddy Bridgewater's not the guy. And Atlanta, we don't know what the fuck they're going to do, but they might shake it up and move on from Matt Ryan. So any quarterbacks you have to worry about or Pitts potentially going to fucking Atlanta?
Yeah, I would tell you that I would bet money that it is more likely than not that one of Zach Wilson or Justin Fields is going to be the quarterback in Carolina. Like I when you look at what they tried to give to get Matthew Stafford, which was more than just number 8 overall, you know how aggressive they're going to be to go get a quarterback. And they are in year 2 of what is a long-term plan for a rebuild, and they want to go get their guy. We know that that's a fact. We also know that they are in on a Deshaun Watson trade. I have no idea where that stands at this point. The Houston Texans seem to be not budging, but they're prepared to offer a lot for Deshaun Watson as well. And so we know that they're going to get aggressive. Miami's the perfect team to go up to number 3 and go make a quarterback trade, draft whatever QB3 is. If the Jets take Justin Fields, they'll move up and go get Zach Wilson. If the Jets take Zach Wilson, you go move up and you get Justin Fields. So I think that that's absolutely realistic. And then I don't know how realistic this other one is, but I love Kyle Pitts to the Atlanta Falcons for the Falcons. You know, I'm sure that Bucs fans don't like hearing me say that, but Arthur Smith, new head coach in Atlanta, no offensive coordinator, no offense in the NFL ran more heavy personnel that's multiple tight end usage on the field more than the Tennessee Titans did under Arthur Smith. And so when you look at their tight end room, they have Hayden Hurst, who, okay, they like, but if all of a sudden now you have Hayden Hurst and you add Kyle Pitts, that gives you the ability to do a lot of the things that made Ryan Tannehill successful in Tennessee. Now he can do the same things with Matt Ryan, who I think is a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill. So it gives them a flexibility to go back to a system that Arthur Smith was very comfortable with. So I do think that there is a very real possibility that there is a very, very good young promising quarterback in Carolina next year, and that Atlanta could get another great offensive weapon, or maybe even a guy like Penei Sewell to go along that offensive line. So yeah, you got to keep an eye on those things, no doubt.
I'm not worried. I'm not scared at all.
Did Henry come to Atlanta with Arthur Smith?
Derrick Henry? Is that who you're?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. No.
I'm not worried, Trevor, at all. I mean, 45 or 31 Winfield, they're gonna break Pitts in half if he comes here. So I'm not worried. I'm not fucking worried.
No need.
Trevor, thank you so much for hanging out with us, man. Plethora of fucking knowledge. We are not caught up because of our amazing Super Bowl run, courtesy of you finally moving back or out of the fucking state. So we thank you for that again. Give you a couple minutes or a couple seconds to plug what you do at the Draft Network and all the cool shit that you guys have going on. If you guys don't subscribe to that site, if you are not following the Draft Network and all of the people on that site and on Twitter, and of course Trevor, you guys are missing out on a fuck ton of cool content and amazing draft coverage. Go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you love draft coverage at all whatsoever, whether it's player rankings or reading scouting reports or running through your own mock draft using a mock draft simulation, we got you over at thedraftnetwork.com. We're also doing a lot of really great YouTube content as well. We've been really kicking that up over the last couple of months, so that's the same thing as Draft Network on YouTube. You guys already subscribed to the Loose Cannons podcast on YouTube, so you just go over to thedraftnetwork.com and subscribe to everything that they're doing over there. Really appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a blast. I feel like of all of the times that I've come on the podcast with you guys, we actually talked football the most on this one.
Yes.
I feel like we when it's the 4 of us, we normally get very off the rails, but I feel like we did the fans a service here. We actually talked a lot of football this episode.
Well, if you want, if you have about 60 seconds, you're a big barbecue guy and you're crazy about your 3 sides minimum.
It's true.
Right? So I'm going to allow you, I mean, do you have a favorite side? Is it mac and cheese?
So I have a 3 trio of sides that I always go with because, of course, it's 3 sides minimum. You know, that's a rule that we live by. Mac and cheese, baked beans, barbecue baked beans, and collard greens. Those are my 3. Those are the 3 that I constantly go to.
All right, so mac and cheese. 60 seconds. Give me an NFL draft breakdown of mac and cheese.
Oh God.
Well, it's everything that you want, right? And when you look at how it deals with its position on the plate, it's so smooth, right? You just enjoy it the whole time. Start to finish, it's fantastic. It doesn't hit you too hard at the beginning. It's not a late bloomer. It's all the way through. It's fantastic there. If you do it right, it's got the exact consistency you want. And that's what everybody wants in this league. They want consistency. They want to know, hey, when I call your name, are you going to be able to give me what I expect? That's mac and cheese every time. That's why it's an instant side. That's why you've got to be able to order it right then and there, no matter what barbecue place it is. You know exactly what you're getting, and you know it has a high ceiling every time. You look at the ingredients, you look at what they're made of, it's got a high ceiling. So smooth throughout, consistency, and a high ceiling. You can't get a better barbecue prospect than that.
I mean, that is like, that's how a fucking bro.
We're in trouble.
We're in trouble, bro. We're in trouble.
Yeah, we are in trouble, y'all. And
Man.
stay tuned to all the loose cannons, everything.
Stay tuned. We're gonna be doing
that's just the taste of things to come.
Food, draft, food, and Trevor just.
That was phenomenal.
That's how a pro does it.
I've got to go back to the mirror and practice. That was ridiculous.
I was about to say I got to get in the mirror.
Yeah, that was. Holy shit!
When all those fails, I go to the Todd.
See, but now unfortunately, people know that if you ask me about a prospect name, I can just lie my ass off about it. So maybe people are figuring out I might be a total fraud about this thing.
Trevor.
Yeah.
Last one, and this one you don't have to answer, but we do, but it's a one word answer, not long. How would you feel at Sammer's house? Because at Sammer, I know that you're the 3 sides minimum guy. We all hosted watch parties this year. We went to Sammer's house. There were no sides.
None.
There were no beverages.
Meat cookies.
There were no fucking utensils. It was just fucking meat, bro. Your hand, and you had lamb cookie chops, and fucking he made like 15 ribeyes and kebabs and just no utensils, no
meat.
sides.
The sides were meat.
I served platters of meat with sides of meat and air.
How do you feel?
I am a carnivore. I don't have a sweet tooth. I have like a salt tooth. I've got like a meat tooth, whatever you want to call it. Like when people are like, "Hey, I want extra dessert," I'll be like, "No, just like give me more steak. Like this is what I want." So I'd be totally down for this. This actually sounds like a paradise. So
no sides.
It's not. That's fine. You know, like sides are obviously good, but it is more the three sides minimum rule is more of like a when you go out to eat barbecue thing. It doesn't have to be like, a rule that you apply to absolutely everything in your life. So if Sammer's making us a bomb-ass ribeye and wings, which I know he is, you don't need anything more than that.
I had 5 people at this house, counting myself. We had, I think it was 9 ribeyes.
All dudes and all meat.
9 ribeyes, all right? About 50 wings, and I'm pretty sure I had about 12 lamb chops. And of course, more than 12. Okay, so 15.
There was 12 lamb kebabs. There was kebabs.
And then the kebabs. No, this was
the last game. It was the Atlanta game where Mike got
Atlanta
hurt.
Falcons game, just for no reason.
An irrelevant game.
Yeah, I put out some of those like whole wheat Tostitos though. Those little fucking scoopers, the brown ones.
Yeah. No, you gotta cleanse the palate a little bit.
And I didn't even open the bag. I just left it on the countertop.
Trevor, I won't allow it, bro. First of all, when you come into town, you're having my $100 mac and cheese. That's if you're gonna come to one of our watch parties, you're going to have my $100 mac and cheese.
I can't come to the watch party though, because if I step foot in Tampa, it'd be the curse. So you guys
preseason game. You're allowed.
Sammer said if foot hits leather, I can't.
No, I said when foot hits leather or toe hits leather, that counts. That counts.
Oh, okay.
Before
I was gonna say if not, then y'all have to come up to Carolina and we got to tailgate up.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Carolina game.
Let's do that.
Carolina game.
Carolina barbecue.
Wait. You guys have Publix? You guys have Publix?
Hell yeah, we got Publix.
We don't even need Publix. We just need the Carolina barbecue, dog. Who cares about fucking Publix?
Well, he wants to taste our meats, bro.
I'm bringing my meats with me in a cooler, bro, on dry ice. I'm bringing the meats with me.
I'll be on a plane with that little dish that like I have a fucking dish with like a wrap on it. That'll be my carry-on, the mac and cheese.
No, I'm gonna carry my meats in that that refrigerated cooler that they give you when you transport organs from one hospital to the other. I'm just gonna carry all my meats in one of those.
All right, now we're off the rails.
Listen, an Arab dude getting onto a plane with a cooler full of fucking
Arab dude getting on a plane.
I'm gonna get randomly searched at least 3 times before I even get on the fucking plane.
Yeah, that's
right.
For sure.
All I gotta do is
that being said, thanks for tuning in, guys. Give us some deuces. See y'all next week.
Thanks again, Trevor. Go Bucs.